What a month this has been. I don't remember having had such a great month of January. I think that since the start of this channel in September 2020, I think this is the richest month ever with regards to metal releases. So in this video, not only I'm gonna rank my 10 best albums, that's what I do. That's what I will do in the second part of this video, but there are so many stuff that you don't want to miss, you know. So I decided to to introduce them to you by category in the first part of this video, and just so that you know, black metal wins it again this month. There's been such a large number of great releases in black metal, but death metal is there very present this month as well. You will understand why later in this video. But first of all, make yourself comfortable, grab a snack, a drink, whatever, and let's go for a journey in metal. And let's start up with thrash metal. This latest one was a band from Chile, and they produce a mix of blackened thrash metal, and I gotta say that in this category, this one to me wins it this month. So don't miss these three, but especially the Trastorn album, the last one that you just heard here from Chile. Let's move on now quickly to sludge, and in sludge I have quite a few references for you as well. mentioning earlier that death metal was huge this month of January, as that huge that I couldn't include all of them in my top 10, so here are 2 albums that you sure don't want to miss in death metal. In black metal, the winner of this month, I also have too many to include them in my top 10, so let me illustrate to you one of those, that are so great that you can't miss as well, but that are not included in my top 10 that you will see later in this video. So these are so great black metal albums as well. Don't worry if your thing is doom metal, I have also a great selection for you, starting with those.
recurring seasons, never humbler, never open. 5 a.m., flight of dawn, no rest for the sleepless.
That's not all. I also have those coming albums that you sure don't want to miss as well, and then we start with my number 10.
Cosmic fire machine, thankfully
So let's start with the big piece of this video. I'm gonna list now my 15 favorite albums of the month. It's not gonna be 10, it's gonna be 15. I'm sorry, there's too much this month. I could not make so much sacrifices. So the list that follows are my favorite 15 albums of the month with no specific order except for the last one, who will be my very favorite album of the month. But the 14 that are coming in the end are not really ranked. It's just the 14 album that I prefer this month before releasing my number one of the month. So let's start things up with this one. Here in Australia with a first selection in death metal, and this is the band called Ashen. The album's title is Ritual of Ash, and it's their debut album actually that was released this month, more precisely on the 13th of January under Bitter Loss Records. It's 10 tracks for 37 minutes. It's absolutely great death metal, really traditional death metal, but really so at the edge of being technical, but very gore as well by moments, and perfect artwork, and vinyl is on its way. I think it will be delivered by the month of May because it's not produced yet at the moment I'm talking to you. So this one is one of the best death metal albums of the month. It's not the best. The best is coming later, you will see in this list, but this one is already huge, and I highly recommend, if you are a fan of death metal, don't miss this one. It's absolutely fantastic. Blackened death metal for my next selection with the band Dryad. They come from Iowa in the USA, and they produce a mix of black and death metal. It's their debut album called The Abyssal Plane. It was out on the 20th of January under Prophetic Records. Vinyl is on its way as well for me. I can't wait to put my hands on it, because it's absolutely great. This album is 13 tracks for nearly 35 minutes. It's quite short. The tracks are very short, but you have this, this you can feel the dirtiness, while listening to it, and can be also, feeling like you're somewhere lost in space, or on a foreign planet or something like that. But it gives you a specific mood on this one, and I really love it. So don't miss this album as well. It's Dryad. Progressive band Catatonia are back with a 13th studio album called Sky Void of Stars, and this album is fucking amazing. Even if personally progressive metal with only clear vocals is not really my cup of tea anymore, even if it's where I started several years ago. But yeah, I have to say that this album of Catatonia is a lot better than the previous one. I just really love it. And when you think that they released their first LP back in 1993, and they were really delivering a pure doom metal in their early days, and now look at what they're doing. You know, no growls anymore, but yeah, the instrumentations are great on this album, and the vocals are phenomenal as well. Production amazing, and yeah, fans of Catatonia, I'm sure that you love this album, and that's why it's also in my list. Switch back to black metal with the band called Bizarre Cult. They come from Russia, and it's their second LP. Their first one was released not later than 2021, so a couple of years ago, and they are back with the second full-length album called Den Tapte Kriegen. It's released under Season of Mist on the 27th of January. 8 tracks for 42 minutes. Absolutely fantastic. Great black metal. The previous album 2 years ago was already amazing, and this one confirms that they are really talented, and it's one of the best black metal albums so far this year. Some epic atmospheric black metal coupled with dungeon synth. Here I'm bringing you to the UK with Firion Holt, who just released their second album. Remember, the previous one was also released in 2021, called By the Waters of Awakening, with one of the greatest artwork of that year in 2021. They are already back couple of years later with their second LP, White Frost and Elder Blood. It was released on the 27th of January under Naturmacht Productions. 4 tracks for a total playing time of 45 minutes. If you like dungeon synth, you have to like dungeon synth, because I have to say that it's really predominant on their sound. This is no exception compared to the previous release. But if you like it, if you like these kind of sounds, mixed with some epicness and some atmospheric black metal, I think you will love it. But you have to like dungeon synth. If you're really allergic to dungeon synth, I don't think it's your thing. But to me it's great, and that's why it deserves a spot in this list of my January 2023 best of video. Floridians of Obituary are back with an 11th studio album. They have been on the scene since the late 1980s. The first LP was out in 1989, and they are back with their 11th studio album, this time called Dying of Everything. So they are from Florida, you know them. They produce a great death metal and classical death metal, let's say. Really, the standard of death metal is there, and it's 10 tracks for 45 minutes. It was released on the 13th of January under Relapse Records, and I have to say that, it's not maybe their best release so far, but it's one of the top albums that they release, according to what I think, and it's a great death metal album, but it's not yet the best death metal album of this month. One of the best black metal albums of the month is coming from Leipa. They are German, and it's their second full-length album called Reue. Their first one was back in 2021 as well, with called Sisyphus, and they are back here with their new LP, and it was released on the 13th of January under Noisebringer Records. It's 7 tracks for 39 minutes. It's absolutely great black metal in the pure tradition of it, but you have some maybe progressive stuff included there, and this album is very, very surprising. It happens, some strange things over there in the album, and it's really one of the best of the month, all categories as well. So don't miss this album from Leipa. They are German, by the way. Some death and groove metal from the USA and more precisely from Alaska. The guys are coming from Alaska, but they reside in Texas at the moment. The name of the band is Turbid North. It's their fourth studio album. The first one was out in 2008, and they are back with a fourth LP called The Decline. It was released on January the 20th, and it's absolutely fantastic. 10 tracks for 43 minutes. It's really harsh by moment. It's very atmospheric by moment. You can move really from a state of mind to another very quickly. Musicianship of this band is absolutely fantastic, and the vocals, what can we say about the vocals? They are so great. Well, this album is great. Don't miss it. It's Turbid North. Seventh album from German black metal band Imperium Decadence. They present to us their seventh LP this year, Into Sorrow Evermore. It was out on the 20th of January under Napalm Records. 8 tracks for 51 minutes. Absolutely amazing of an album. I just received the vinyl today, and look at this piece. The production of the vinyl is amazing as well, because look at the cover of the album. Fantastic. I just love it, and it's really representative of what you have inside for music, to listen to. It's absolutely great. Look at this vinyl. It's really a great black metal album. And if you open the vinyl, I don't know if you plan to order it, but look at this, the beautiful artwork all over the place in the vinyl, and so it's a double LP, and each of one comes, in this nice packages, this one and this one. Voila. Just a great album. If you're looking for one of the best black metal albums for this year so far, this one is clearly in the list, and I recommend you don't miss it. It's the new album from Imperium Decadence. Bringing you to Hollywood, California, USA now for another black metal release, and this time is progressive black metal with a band coming from Hollywood called Ashen Horde, and it's their fourth studio album called Anti-Money. It was released on the 27th of January under Transcending Obscurity Records. It's 10 tracks for 51 minutes. It's a great artwork. The album is quite long, more than 50 minutes, but yeah, it's a journey. You have this. I love it when you have this progressive side, over black metal. Because it's typical black metal, but you have some surprises, going all over the place, track by track, because and that's why it's called progressive, because you have some surprises coming all over the place. From start to finish, this album is a piece of music, a great one, and I strongly recommend you put that in your list as well.
Building my throne.
More black metal here with a Swedish band, another Swedish band, and I remember it was out on the early of the month. It was my first crush for this month, for this year as well. I think it released the same week as the Obituary album, and I was really playing one after the other and replaying the other. I was really mixing these two albums, and this one is fantastic. So it's a Swedish band who produced black metal. It's their fourth LP called Lycaon. It was out on January the 13th under Avant-Garde Music, 8 tracks for 35 minutes. It's great black metal. It's a short album. You can play it, again and again and again. It's totally addictive, very catchy, and I suggest you don't miss it as well. Voila. With regards to death metal, this one is my second favorite of the month. My favorite is coming just after. We are here in the USA, more precisely in Seattle, Washington. Their first studio album of Reburied. It's a new band. It's their first album called Repulsive Nature. It was out on the 20th of January under Translation Loss Records. 10 tracks for 31 minutes. Very short. So it's really the kind of death metal, that you play and you play and you play, because it's very short tracks, and it's 10 tracks for 31 minutes. Can you imagine that? So it's really, you pass it and then you pass it again and again. And it's a great death metal, traditional death metal album. Very, very heavy. I really strongly recommend, if you like the genre, not to miss this one. But there is an even better than that one, and I'm talking to the next that follows. I have to mention this one. So this one is, of course, again, death metal. And when I was talking about my personal favorite into death metal this month, I'm talking about that one. I have to say that the USA win this round of January, because it's another band from the USA, and this time I'm bringing you to Minneapolis in Minnesota with Nothingness. Nothingness is the name of their band. It's not their debut. Their debut was released in 2019 called The Hollow Gaze of Death. They are back 4 years after with their second studio album called Supraliminal. It was out of the 20th of January under Everlasting Spoo Records. 9 tracks for 43 minutes. What can I say? Usually, I don't know if it's my taste, in metal that are changing depending on the season. I don't know, but the thing is that there were 3 or 4 great death metal albums this month that really caught my attention and that ended up in this ranking. And this one, I gotta say, is the very, very best in death metal for this month. And I see it pass, on different personalities in metal, on their social networks. Many of them are mentioning this album, so it's to tell you how great this album is. It's super heavy, but also it's super catchy, and I love the rhythm, I love the production also on this album. And if you are like me wanting this vinyl, it will be releasing in the next week, some month. It's not available yet, but it's on my list, my to-have list. And if you love death metal, don't miss this album. It's the best death metal album of this month of January 2023. I'm just telling you.
Bodies
Everlasting Ascendancy is the second studio album from one-man band, black metal band from Toronto in Canada, led and owned by Rick Galvez. Hi Rick! Who who just released his second studio album this January the 27th. It's absolutely great. I already fell in love, with the previous release back in 2021. It was really great. It was in my ranking of the year, and I think it will be also the case for this one, because I have the impression that his vocals have also again, stepped up since the first album. And the production is amazing. The instruments, it's very nervous. I think it's more violent, maybe more speedy, more really pure black metal than the previous one. Maybe the previous one was more melodic or symphonic there. I have the impression that this one is more brutal, but it doesn't remove anything in the quality of this album. It's a great one-man band. And Rick, congrats for this album if you're watching this video, and I know you are. Let's talk to each other in an interview, in the weeks to come. I know it's on the agenda, so I'll get back to you on that. Thank you, Rick, for this album. It was my most anticipated album of this month of January 2023, and of course it ends up at my number one spot for this month. It was just out today on Friday the 27th, and I was waiting for it since weeks and months now, and of course it ends up at my number one spot for this January 2023. I'm talking about Finnish guys, I'm talking about symphonic black metal, I'm talking of course about And Oceans. Wow, what an album. Check it out. These guys are from Finland, and they are on the scene since the late 1990s, where they were producing at the early days symphonic black metal, but then in their mid-career they were more focusing on industrial metal and electronic metal, and now they are back since the previous album that was released in 2020. They are back on their first love, symphonic black metal, and this one, wow, the symphonies, it's I don't have the words to describe this album. It's so rich. And the album's title is called As in Gardens, So in Tombs. It's 10 tracks for 50 minutes, but if you take the vinyl, you will have also 2 bonus tracks on the vinyl editions. So it gives you 8 more minutes of pure happiness. So it gives the total playing time of this album 58 minutes. And as a pure coincidence or not, I just received from my mailman the vinyl that I ordered already a couple of weeks ago. The vinyl is amazing, and of course I will spin it just after having recorded and trimmed this video. I will spin it for the very first time, but I can tell you that this album is gorgeous. It's fucking phenomenal. If you love your symphonic black metal, I think you can only love this one, and you won't find any better album in this subgenre for this month. And this is my all genres. This is my number one album of the month. Don't miss it. Symphonic black metal from Finland. the new album from End Oceans. Absolutely great. So, this video was quite long, so please leave me in the comments down below what are your favorite albums of this month, and we'll talk about that, off record. And thanks for having watched this video. I know it was long, but there was so many stuff that I couldn't get rid of making, the script of this video. And well, thanks a lot for sharing to the world and for putting your comments. Don't forget the thumbs, it's very important to me. Subscribe to this channel if it's not done yet, and I will see you very soon on a next video. And also I will see you on the other side. That was Melo from Made Out of Mela.